West Ham United have officially been relegated to the Championship. Despite winning their last game of the season, so did Tottenham, meaning that they finished in 18th place in the Premier League and being relegated for the first time in 14 years. So today, I am taking over as the new manager of West Ham, and it will be my goal to promote them back into the Premier League, establish them as a Premier League staple, and finally, and most importantly, win the club their first ever Champions League title. Let's get into it. And so here we are in the championship. This is what the team looks like, but it is about to change a whole lot. Specifically, a bunch of these players are going to want to leave just like they will in real life. And personally, there are 4 players that I'm really sad to see going. It's almost guaranteed that these players leave. They include Matías Fernández, Crescencio Somerville, our breakout left back Malik Diouf, and unfortunately, club legend Jarrad Bowen. There will definitely be more transfers than that, but those 4 are practically guaranteed to leave this upcoming window. So I have transfer listed a bunch of players that I believe will leave this window, and these departures will hopefully pay off the expected $100 million in debt that West Ham are going to face with this relegation. It's sad to see these players go, but it must happen. And so let the fire sale of our players commence. Mavropanos is headed to Sunderland. Jarrad Bowen is heading to Arsenal. Matías Fernández is heading to Crystal Palace. Edson Alvarez is headed to Manchester United. Diouf is headed to Newcastle. Fulkrug is headed to Stade Rennais, and Castellanos is headed to Aston Villa. Wan-Bissaka is headed to Spurs, and finally, Somerville is headed to Brighton. And so after all of those departures, I think that is all the players I want to sell. This is what the team now looks like. I have changed into a 4-4-2 holding, and for this season, I really want to develop some of our young talent that is here. Most notably, our left back Oliver Scarles, CDM duo Freddie Potts and Magassa, as well as Englishman George Earthy and our Portuguese striker Pablo. And so with our debts now paid, I am giving myself $50 million to work with to sign some young talent for this team. And looking back at this team, I want to try and bring in a new striker, a left mid, a right back, and another center back. And as our first transfer into the club, we are going to be signing a young Polish left midfielder. We are signing Oskar Piłowski from Porto for $9 million. And next up, we are going to be signing a Swiss center back, 75 overall, 22 years old. We are signing Ariel Amenda from Frankfurt for $10 million. And next up, we have a striker joining the club. I have super high hopes for this guy. He has a championship experience. That's why I wanted to bring him in. We are going to be signing August Prinsky from Birmingham City for $12.4 million. And finally, we're going to be signing a young Spanish right back that can develop and take over that position. We are signing Angel Ortiz from Real Betis for $9 million. And so this is what the team now looks like going into the season. Our goal is obviously promotion, but will this team be good enough? Let's find out. And so for our first season in charge in the championship with West Ham, we decided to take on West Brom. It would take until after halftime for any goals. Prinsky was found in the box with some space. He fake shot around his defender and he ball rolled just past the keeper, giving him an open shot, making it a 1-0 game. And only 10 minutes later, Pablo showed off his dribbling and was able to finesse it past West Brom's goalie, giving us a 2-goal advantage. And we would continue scoring. Piłowski would find some space out wide, chip it inside to Prinsky, who would volley it home past West Brom's goalie. And just to rub a little salt into the wound, Pablo would sweat it across to Prinsky for once again another goal, and we would go on to win the game 4-0 in dominating fashion. And at the end of the season, we managed to win the EFL Championship, finishing on 96 points. You can't ask for a better season. And for some reason right now, using the live star points, the championship teams are a little messed up, so some of these teams are not where they're supposed to be. But Wolves is going to be joining us, as well as Ipswich, even though they should already be in the Premier League by now. And our top goal scorer was new addition August Prinsky. He was a fantastic signing, 27 goals and 3 assists. As well as Piłowski, he had 15 goals and 11 assists and went up 6 overall. That's a fantastic 2 signings. And overall, we did exactly what we wanted to do. We're into the Premier League for next season. And here we are at our first season in the Premier League with West Ham. This is what the team currently looks like. It's okay, but in its current state, I don't think we're going to survive. And for this season, we've been given that promotional money. We have a huge budget of $144 million to spend. And looking back at the team, some transfer targets that I want to make, I definitely want to bring in another CDM. I also want another striker, as these two are the only ones really on the roster. And then I also want to bring in a new right mid. And we have our first signing of the window. We're going to be bringing in a CDM with a bit of class to him. I wanted a higher overall player in that position, and I think we did a great job. We are going to be signing 83 overall Alan Varela from Porto for $39 million. And next up, we have a new right mid joining the club. We're going to be signing 81 overall Anand Kalali, and we signed him from Union Saint-Gilloise for $40 million. And next up, we have found our new striker joining the club. I wanted someone with a little bit of Premier League experience, and this guy has done it. But I also wanted someone that can still develop and is young enough to be the star of this team. So we're going to be signing Nigerian striker Kristantes Uche, and we signed him from Getafe for $33 million. So we have our 3 new additions into the team, and I don't think I can do much more. I have about $15 million in the budget, and I don't think that's going to really upgrade this team in any sort of way, so I think this is exactly how we're going to run the team. Our first season in the Premier League, obviously, our goal is to not get relegated. Let's see how we do. And so for our first season in the Premier League, we decided to take on a very solid opponent in AFC Bournemouth. And unfortunately, they would get off to a hot start. After a corner kick, they would cross in the ball, and Eli Krupi was wide open for a header, putting it past our goalie, giving them a 1-0 advantage. And it would take until the second half, but Bournemouth would whip in another corner, and it would land on the head of Brazilian striker Avelason, and he would put them up 2-0. So I changed our formation to a 4-1-2-1-2 wide to try and generate some more offense. And that change seemed to help out, as Uche would find some space and would send Paituski through on goal, who would take it himself with his left foot, giving us a 1 goal back into this game. And with the clock winding down in the 91st minute, we had the ball on the attack, and we sweated across just for Bournemouth's goalie to scoop it up and not allow us to get the shot off, and Bournemouth would go on to win the game 2-1, unfortunately handing us an L. And at the end of the season, we have somehow finished in 6th place in the Premier League. I don't even know how we did this, but we have overperformed expectations by a mile. That is absolutely insane. We are most likely in the Conference League for next year. Incredible. At the top of the table, it was ManCity winning the league, Arsenal in 2nd, Liverpool in 3rd, and Chelsea in 4th. And at the bottom of the table, it is Leeds, Ipswich, and Sunderland all going down to the Championship. In the FA Cup, we were knocked out in round 3, 5-4 to Brighton. And in the Carabao Cup, we made it to round 4 but lost to Leeds. And our top goal scorer for the season was one of our new additions, Uche. He had 16 goals and 6 assists. He also went up 3 overall to an 84. That is a fantastic signing. Prinsky also had a good campaign with 15 and 2, and probably our best player of the season, Oscar Paituski, 13 goals and 14 assists. That is incredible. 27 goal contributions for him. The offense was definitely flowing through that left side with him. And so here we are at the start of our 2nd season in the Premier League. This is what the team looks like. There is a lot of areas that have fantastic players, and then there's a lot of areas that just aren't up to par. Both of our strikers are looking really, really good. Both are up to an 84 overall, as well as our outside mids are both up to an 85. But for this season, this defense needs a lot of work, as they are way behind the rest of the team. And for this season, we have a budget of $103 million to make that happen. And so for this season, I'm going to look for a brand new CDM to pair next to Varela, a star-studded center back, as well as a new fullback. And we have our first signing of the window. It is going to be a brand new CDM to pair up with Alan Varela. It is an English CDM. We're going to be signing Jack Hinchelwood, and we were able to pick him up from Brighton for $30 million. And next up, we are bringing in a brand new center back. This guy is an incredible talent, and he should be here for the rest of the rebuild. We're going to be signing Belgian center back Zeno de Bast from Sporting Lisbon, and we were able to sign him for $37 million. And next up, we have probably our only departure of the window. We're going to be selling Kyle Walker-Peters, and he is off to Everton for $13.5 million. And then next, we are going to be signing a brand new starting right back. It is a French right back from Wolfsburg. We are going to be signing Sayel Kombetti for 26 million. And then finally, we're going to be signing a backup goalkeeper, Michael Cooper, for 8 million. So after all that business, this is what the team now looks like. We're looking a lot more balanced. We are able to add some good quality into the team. We are in the Europa League for this season, and we have huge expectations due to last year's finish. Maybe, just maybe, we can go on to win the Europa League and potentially push into the top 4 in the Premier League, but there's only one way to find out. And so for this season in the Premier League, we decided to take on Aston Villa. And we would strike first as 25 minutes into the game, Uche was found through on goal from a chip through ball, and he just wasn't going to miss that one-on-one from there, giving us a 1-0 advantage. But unfortunately, in the 80th minute, after a poor clearance, the ball would bounce right back to Ollie Watkins, and he would smash it into the top corner of the net, and unfortunately, the game would go on to end just that way as a 1-1 draw. And at the end of the season, we did regress. We finished in 11th place in the Premier League, but it's not all that bad. This was a very, very tight table. We scored 55 points on the season, but all the way up here in 4th place, Liverpool finished on 62. So they were only 7 points ahead of us at the end of the season. It was just a very tight table to begin with. And gonna be honest, a regression was definitely inevitable. 6th place was way too good for a first season in the Premier League. And at the top of the table, it was ManCity, Newcastle finishing in 2nd, Arsenal in 3rd, and Liverpool in 4th. And at the bottom of the table, it is Millwall, Hull City, and Southampton all going down to the Championship. In the FA Cup, we made it to round 5 but lost to Everton. And in the Carabao Cup, we had a deep run making it to the semi-finals, but also lost to Everton in that. And this year, we were in the Conference League and not the Europa League, and we made a pretty deep run making it to the semi-finals of that, but we lost to Como 4-2, and they would go on to win the entire thing. And looking at the player stats, Uche was our top goal scorer. He progressed nicely from last year, 27 goals and 11 assists. That is very, very nice from him. Prisky, 19 goals and 5 assists from him as well. And once again, Oscar Paitioski, an incredible campaign for him, 13 goals and 20 assists. He has been absolutely amazing for us, and he's up to an 88 overall at only 21. He is going to be a generational player for us. So we regressed a little bit in the Premier League this season, but we did have some decent growth out of our players. Let's get into the next season. And so here we are. The team looks fantastic on paper, but there are definitely a lot of positions I still want to upgrade, mostly on the defense and in goal. The top half of this team looks absolutely fantastic, but I think we still need to improve in the back line. And so for this season, it might be time to bring in a new left back to replace Scarles, as well as bringing in a high quality goalie that can be here for the rest of the rebuild. And to do that, we have 110 million in the budget to work with. And using some of that money, we're going to sign one of the craziest looking goalkeeper talents I have ever seen on this game. This guy is 83 overall already. He's super young and he has insane potential. We are going to be signing Fabio Paresis from Napoli for 56 million. And just look at him. He is 83 overall at only 17 years old. He looks absolutely insane and should develop into one of the world's best goalkeepers. And now that we have signed another goalie, we don't really have any need for our current starter, Hermansen. So the Danish goalie is headed out to PSV for 29 million. And using that money, we are bringing in a player that I really wanted to bring in. We are going to be signing an English regen left back. Millwall had just been relegated from the Premier League to the Championship, and we are probably going to be signing one of their best players here. We are going to be signing Harley Cole for 48.5 million. This guy looks pretty good. He's 82 overall, only 22 years old. It said he had around 85 potential, which is a lot higher than Oliver Scarles has right now. So I think he's going to be a great addition to this team. So with our 2 new regen signings into this team, I'm really excited to see what we can do this season. And so for this season, we decided to take on Tottenham Hotspurs in the Premier League. And only a couple minutes into the match, we would find Piłsudski in a bunch of space out wide, and he would cross the ball into Prisky, who would rise to the occasion and head his shot past the goalkeeper, giving us an early advantage. And only a couple minutes after that, Uche would receive the ball at the top of the box, somehow get through his man, and trivela it past Spurs' goalkeeper, giving us a 2-0 lead super early on. And luckily for us, the game would go on to end just that way as a 2-0 victory. And at the end of the season, we have had a huge bounce back season, finishing in 5th place in the Premier League, ahead of Manchester City, who fell off and finished in 6th place. A top 5 finish, we will definitely take that. At the top of the table, it was Arsenal who would win the league, Chelsea in 2nd, Liverpool in 3rd, and Manchester United in 4th. And at the bottom of the table, it was Wolves, Brentford, and Ipswich all getting relegated. In the FA Cup, we made it to round 4 but lost to Chelsea. And in the Carabao Cup, we also made it to round 4 but lost to Stoke. And looking at the player stats, Prisky was our top goal scorer, 28 goals for him, 4 assists, absolutely insane. He's gone up to an 88, and his partner, Uche, is up to an 87. He had 19 goals and 7 assists on the season as well. Kalali had an okay season with 12 goals for him. And Piłsudski had a little bit of regression as he had 10 and 9, but you can't expect him to have 20 assists every single season. And our 2 signings did absolutely insane. Our goalkeeper, Fabio Paresis, went up 5 overall and is now an 88 and already one of the world's best goalkeepers. As well as Harley Cole, our left back that we signed, went up 4 overall. Definitely great signings that we made. A huge bounce back season for us, 5th place in the Premier League. Let's keep improving this team. And so here we are at the start of the next season. This team is shaping up and looking incredible. We are starting to have some super high overall players. Our CDM, Alan Varela, is up to a 91. And our left mid, Piłsudski, is up to a 90 at only 22. This team is really shaping up. But for this season, there is really only one spot I really want to upgrade. And that is going to be to bring in another center back. Todibo has really impressed me by how he has grown over this career mode. He's up to an 84, but he is 30 years old, and I don't know how much left he has in the tank. So I think if we can bring in someone younger, that would be ideal for this team. And then outside of a new center back, I want to work on bringing in a couple of better bench pieces as well. And the board this season have given us an insane $186 million budget to work with this season. And we are first going to be signing a brand new center back. We have got significantly younger at this point, and he has a little bit of more room to grow. We are going to be signing Italian wonderkid center back Petro Camuzzo from Fiorentina, and we were able to get him for $65 million. And then we are also going to be bringing in a backup left midfielder, as we only have Oscar out on the left mid at the moment. So we are signing Englishman Jonathan Rowe from Ipswich for $39 million. And so after those 2 additions, I really think I've brought in all the players I want to, even though we have plenty of money left in the bank. I really want to see how this team can continue to develop and grow over the course of the next couple of years. And if anything, I can spend that money in the future if need be. And so for this season, we decided to take on the Red Devils in Manchester United. And unfortunately, they would strike first. Brian Mbeumo would sweat the ball across to Kobe Mainoo, who would tap it in for a simple and easy finish. And things just were not clicking as Manchester United in the second half tiki-taka'd with some amazing passes around our defenders and scored, making it 2-0 in the 73rd minute. So this game was a huge wake-up call and resulted in a 2-0 loss. So because of this loss, I changed our formation from a 4-4-2 holding to a 4-2-3-1 wide to hopefully increase our balance. And at the end of the season, we managed to turn the ship around, finishing in 3rd place in the Premier League. That formation change really made a huge difference. It was ManCity who won the league, Newcastle in 2nd, we finished in 3rd, and Arsenal finished in 4th. And at the bottom of the table, it was Millwall, Hull City, and Southampton all getting relegated. In the FA Cup, we made it to round 5 but lost to Arsenal. And in the Carabao Cup, we lost in round 3 to Brentford. And we were in the Europa League for this year, but we made it to the round of 16, losing to Manchester City. And looking at the player stats, it seems like that formation change really helped this team out. We dropped Uche into the center attacking mid role, and he had a fantastic campaign, 20 goals and 10 assists for him. He went up 3 overall to a 90. Khalili also had a good campaign, 19 goals and 4 assists, and Paituski is back on his form, 17 goals and 16 assists, he is back. But someone that was a little disappointing was August Prinsky. He only had 10 goals, though he only played 31 games, but he should be doing better for a 90 overall. So huge improvements over the second half of the season, and for the first time we have qualified for the Champions League, and I am very excited to see just how this team can do in that competition. And here we are at the new season. I'm really liking the formation change. Uche is actually slopped perfectly into the center attacking mid spot, so he's going to be the guy in that position, but I'm going to need to bring in a backup as we don't have any other center attacking mids on the roster. And then also, it might be time to get a new right back. I really tried to make Kombetti our starting right back, but he's just lacking behind and not as good as the rest of the team. And the board have given us a lot of money. We got Champions League last year, so we have 234 million to work with to spend. And we are going to start off by bringing in a brand new left back. It is a +3 in that position, so he should be this starter for the remainder of the rebuild. We are signing Alberto Costa from Sevilla for 84 million. And then we are also going to be bringing in a backup center attacking midfielder, 86 overall Portuguese player. We are signing Gustavo Sa for 93 million. I know that's a very expensive backup, but we have the money and we're in the Champions League for this season, and we could possibly complete this rebuild this season. It is on the cards. So I think those two additions will truly help us out this season and have a deep run into the Champions League. This team is looking incredible, but will it be enough? Let's see how we do. And for this season, we were taking on our hardest opponent yet in Manchester City. And luckily, we would get off on the right foot. Prisky would find some space in the box, dribble past this man, and sweat it across to Uche, who would just barely get in front of his defender and tap it in for a 1-0 lead. And only a couple minutes later, this time Uche would find Prisky, but his shot would be saved. But luckily, after some weird bobbling in the box, it would land right to the foot of Khalili, who would make it 2. And just for good measure, in the second half in the 70th minute, Prisky would find the ball in the box and hammer it home far post past ManCity's goalie to make it 3. And the game would go on to end as a dominating 3-0 victory. And here we are, we have skipped forward a decent amount of time. We are here at the end of the Champions League phase, where we finished in 8th place, slipping into the automatic promotion into the round of 16. And in the round of 16, we are going to be playing against Benfica. So here we are for the first leg against Benfica. The team is looking really good. We need to get off on the right foot here. Here we go. It is going to be a 2-2 draw. So not the most ideal first leg for us. A win and we are through to the next round. We're going to play Todibo here because he is actually a pretty solid defender. So winner we're in. Here we go. It is going to be a 3-1 loss, and we are knocked out of the Champions League. And we have jumped to the end of the season. We ended up finishing in 2nd place in the Premier League. Liverpool ended up beating us by only 2 points. Unfortunate we were this close to a title, but we got qualification for the Champions League next season. I guess that is what really matters. ManCity and Chelsea round out the top 4, and at the bottom of the table, it is Leeds, Brentford, and Sheffield United all going down. In the FA Cup, we were knocked out in round 4 because of Liverpool. And in the Carabao Cup, we made it to the quarterfinals, but lost to Crystal Palace. And obviously, in the Champions League, we were knocked out in the round of 16 to Benfica, and it looks like ManCity went on to win it over Arsenal. And looking at the player stats, Paituski was our top goal scorer. 26 and 14 assists from left mid is incredible return. A little bit disappointing from everyone else, honestly. Prisky had 19 and 2. I would have expected a lot higher out of him. And also, Uche kind of disappointed, 13 and 7 compared to previous years. We need to regroup for next year. And we are also going to be losing a bunch of players with contracts expiring. None of them wanted to sign back, which is very unfortunate because some of these are very good players, including center back Amenda and Oliver Scarles, as well as CDM Magassa. All of them are actually decent bench pieces for us, so we're going to have to look to replace those next season. And overall, kind of a disappointing season for us. We didn't win any trophies. We went out in the Champions League super early, so we're going to come back next year even stronger. And so here we are for the next season, and obviously, I think we need to work on the bench a little bit, as we did lose a couple of players from contracts expiring, and The main one being Scarles, our backup left back, so we're going to need to bring one in there. And then also, Potts is an okay third CDM, but I think we could do a little bit better there. And then that's really about it. And for this season, we have 88 million to make that happen. And we are signing our backup left back. He's a pretty decent one. We found him in the championship playing for Hull City. We are signing Samuel Dahl from Hull City for 33 million. And now we have our second and probably last signing of the window. It is actually a very good backup CDM. We found Nico Gonzalez playing in the championship for Leeds. He is a little old at this point. He is 30 years old, but he is 85 overall, and I expect him to be a decent substitution when he needs to come on. And we signed him from Leeds for 43.4 million. And I think that's going to be the only business that I really do this window. The bench is looking really good, and the starting 11 is looking really good. We just need to have it click this season, and it could be our year, but there's only one way to find out. Let's get into the season. And so for this season, we stopped and played in a Champions League group stage match, this time against Napoli. And it would take until the second half in the 60th minute, Prisky would find Uche through on goal, where he would hammer it across net and make it a 1-0 game. And less than 20 minutes later, Paituski would find some space out wide and whip in a beautiful cross to the back post, where Khalili was there to head it home past Napoli's goalie to make it 2. And the game would go on to end just that way, securing 3 points in a 2-0 victory over Napoli. And jumping forward to the end of the Champions League phase, we ended up topping the entire league, finishing on 19 points with the best goal difference over Real Madrid. So you can't ask for much more. We did the best out of anybody, meaning that we skipped the playoff round and we have our round of 16 opponent against Club Brugge. And here we are at the round of 16 versus Club Brugge. It is an easier opponent than last year, but they do have a couple of decent wonder kids if they are still there. So let's see what happens. In the first leg, it is going to be a 1-1 draw. And so here we are for the second leg against Club Brugge. Not the result we wanted in the first leg. It looks like Khalili has a red card, so we're going to put Earthy in that spot. He should do a decent job, but a win, and we are through to the quarterfinals. In the second leg, it is a 4-3 thriller going to extra time, but we are through 5-4 on aggregate. Prisky with the winner in the 111th minute. Wow, what a game for the neutral. And for the quarterfinals, it looks like we have FC Porto. That is a decent opponent. They usually keep most of their wonder kids in these career modes for some reason, but they usually end up with a decent team. So this might be a harder game than you might think, but it looks like Cole has a yellow card, so we're going to bring in the player that we signed this year, Dahl. He should do a decent job for him. And we're going to get straight into the first leg. We need to get off on a good start. It is a 3-0 victory. That is way better than we've been performing. That's what we like to see. So for the quarterfinals, we really just need to not blow it. This should be an easy qualification into the next round. We almost blew it. That was... Whoa. What? Thiago Silva? He's still at Porto? How deep are we into this save? Wow, but we almost, anyways, we almost blew it, but we go through 4-3 on aggregate. That was a lot closer than it should have been. And here we are for the semifinals. Our opponent is a fellow English club, Liverpool. This is going to be a tough matchup. And once again, we need to get off on a good start in the first leg. Here we go. It is going to be a 1-0 loss to start off with. And here we are for the second leg. We need a huge victory here. Costa has a red card, but we do have a good backup. Oh, I didn't put him in the reserves. But we need at least 2 goals here to go through to the Champions League final. It is going to be a 3-1 overtime victory for us. Wow. We are through to the final. Varela, Khalili, and then finally, in extra time, Rowe, the substitute, pushing us through to the Champions League final. And in the Champions League final, we are going to be playing Real Madrid, who ended up beating Napoli in the semifinals. I'm just glad it's not PSG, because if you watched any of my other rebuilds, it seems to always be them. So a different opponent, I will take it. But before we get into the Champions League final, we have gone to the end of the season, and West Ham have won the Premier League title on 81 points. Man United in second, Arsenal in third, and Aston Villa in fourth. Another trophy into the trophy cabinet. You definitely take that. In the FA Cup, we got knocked out in round 3 to Gillingham of all clubs. But in the Carabao Cup, we actually managed to make a deep run, winning the entire trophy 2-0 over United. Meaning if we win against Real Madrid here, we would complete a treble. And looking at the player stats, what a season we had from our players. So much better than last year. Paituski, 32 goals and 20 assists from left mid. He is up to a 94 overall. That is insane. What a season that he had. Also, a huge bounce back season from Prisky and Uche. Uche had 24 goals, 15 assists from Cam. Prisky had 31 goals. Just way better all around from all of our attackers. And so this is the final squad for that Champions League final. It just looks incredible. Paituski is a 94. Our goalkeeper that we bought is a 93 at only 21 years old. This guy is insane. And not to mention our CDM duo of 94 Varela and 92 Henshelwood. This team just looks incredible, and I haven't even touched and mentioned the bench, which looks really good with an 88 Saw there. So I'm really happy with what was built here, and if you're still watching, thank you so much. Make sure to like and subscribe down below. Check out a couple other videos after this one is done, but without further ado, let's get into the Champions League final versus Real Madrid. And basically, straight after kickoff, we would get off to an incredible start. Uche would find Henshelwood through on goal, and with his left foot, he would blast it past Real Madrid's goalie, giving us an insanely early 1-0 advantage. But Real Madrid would have the next couple of chances, including this incredible clear off the goal line to prevent an equalizer. But despite Real Madrid's pressure, in the 24th minute, we would find Prisky in some space in the box, and he would lay it off to Khalili, who would tap it in to give us a 2-0 lead. But those two goals seemed to fuel Real Madrid as they would create some really good chances. More specifically, Vinny Jr. would hit his rebound volley just wide of the post, as well as missing low driven on the other side, as well as Mbappe's Trivela was just wide of being a fantastic goal. But luckily for us, we had held off Real Madrid and we had made it to halftime still at 2-0. But in the second half, Real Madrid would finally break through. In the 82nd minute, we would fail to clear a 1 challenge, and Vinicius Jr. would nick it off us and finesse it past our goalie, giving them a little bit of hope. But luckily for us, it was too little too late, so as the final whistle blew in the Champions League final, West Ham United were officially champions of Europe. We have finally done it. We have completed the West Ham rebuild. So Alan Varela, one of our earliest signings, lifts the trophy as our captain, meaning West Ham United are officially Champions League winners. And if you're still watching at this point, thank you so much for sticking around. It means the world to me. And if you want, check out some of my other videos, like and subscribe. We just hit 4,000. That would be very much appreciated. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.